Peace everyone, Unmask here, and welcome to day 5 million of Inktober. I don't even know at this point, 25. We are almost done with this, just a few more days, less than a week left. But before I get started on today's prompt, which as you can probably tell is a flying ship, let's go ahead and look at some of the work that you guys sent me. So the first one here is from Christine B. She sent me this self-portrait that she did. Sorry that went by so quick. We'll look at it when it comes back around. Here is Gihan. He sent me this one, a little digital piece. Here's Mandy. She did this one, fruit jello for Juicy. I thought this came out really, really good. Here's another one that she did for yesterday's prompt, blind, because in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. Here is the juicy one from Dawn. I really liked the amount of detail that went into this and all the little things that he added to the letters. Looks really nice. Here's another one from Don. He did a bat for blind, which I thought was a really good idea. The idea of a bat didn't even come to mind when I thought of blind. Here's one from Diane. There's a little slug nugget going on a trail. I think I actually might have shared this one before, but I'm not sure. Either way, I liked it so much I'm going to share it again. Here's another one from Diane. She did this one from Juicy. I really liked the composition of this because of the way the watermelon sits in front of the face. It looks like a big smile. Here's one from Naomi. It's a turtle with like a scale on its back. And here is one from Miss Stephanie for blind. I thought this one was very cool. It's actually kind of similar to what I was going to do originally for blind. So here is one. I believe this one is probably for Juicy, if I'm not mistaken, by David. Very nice work, David. And here is one from Abigail, her blind date. I thought that was a good take on the blind prompt. Here's another one for Juicy by Abigail. Very tropical. Thought that was a good one. And here's one from Romar. I like this one. It was a good take on society blinded by their smartphones. That's a good one. Here's one from Danielle. She did a pomegranate. Lots of seeds in there, or kernels, whatever you call them, pomegranate. Here's one from Sebastian. He did for trail. I really liked the perspective in this. Good job, Sebastian. The perspective really draws you in. And then back again to Christine's portrait. She did a really, really good job on this one. It's kind of hard to do a self-portrait for inks, so very, very good job on that drawing. Hello, Anastasia and Parik. Yes, you're both a little bit early. I started a few minutes early. Hello, Erica and Scott. Welcome to the live stream. So I'm really toning it back today. I'm not expecting to be streaming nearly as long as I have been the last couple of days. If you guys were here for yesterday and the day before, those streams I think were past 3 hours or something like that. They were long. And yeah, I'm gonna be taking it easy on myself today and just be doing just black ink. So I have my sketch of my flying ship here. I've always kind of been fascinated by that kind of steampunk look of the flying ships, and I've tried to draw a few in the past, and they never came out very cool looking, I guess. And so I'm gonna go ahead and give it another shot today and see if I can't kind of make one that's reasonably cool looking. Hello, Naomi and Teiko. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. Glad to see you guys in the live stream. Thanks for coming. We're finally coming to an end of Inktober. It feels so good to get done with this list. It's It's been a long journey, as many of you guys know. It's been a long one, but it's been fun. It's been really, really fun. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching me struggle like crazy throughout this month of inking and drawing and coloring and all kinds of stuff. Regardless of how painful some of it has been, it's equally been fun. So I appreciate you guys coming by each day and hanging out, chatting about all kinds of weird stuff too. Oh, hello, Christine. Super bummed having really bad weather here, and I think it's affecting the video. If it keeps lagging, I'm gonna have to watch it later. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Christine. Hello, Michael, Sad Kitty, and Anna. Welcome. Hopefully the bad connection's not on my end. Let me check. No, my stream health is good, so the bad weather might be causing your issues. We're not having the best weather here in Poland either. It's not raining, fortunately, but it's so foggy it just looks like it's snowing outside. So, like I said, today I'm going to really go easy on myself. I have Polish class later this evening, so I didn't want to do anything too crazy, and I didn't want to start the stream really early like I had to on Monday. Of course, it didn't make much of a difference because Monday's stream was like 3 hours long, but still very fun. For those of you that are, having fun with Inktober, make sure you continue to share your work with me by sending it to me over on Facebook so that I can share it on the next live stream. I have the link for that in the description. So I appreciate everybody that's been sending me work. I've just really enjoyed seeing all your guys' creations and seeing what you have come up with and how it differs between all of you. It's so cool to see all your work, and I'm more than happy to share it on the streams. Good evening, Coffee Cat. Silvern, good morning. Effigy, hello. And that's about it. I have some polychromos which I use, and I use Zested pencil to blend it out. Would it be worth getting the luminance white? Yes, absolutely. It would definitely be worth getting the luminance white. What are the advantages to using luminance? Well, the advantages in comparison to using just the polychromos pencils is that the luminance is wax based, and you get the colors are much more opaque. All the luminance pencils are very translucent, which means you don't get the best coverage with them without having to apply like several layers. They still look good used by themselves, but in my personal and professional opinion, if I would never draw a picture with just luminance pencils. I tend to use polychromos pencils. I'd never do a full commission using only polychromos because I find them to just be too translucent. The color selection is pretty good with the polychromos, but I find that they lack a little bit of the lower to mid-range saturation of color. And what I mean by that is they tend to be like fully saturated with color, as opposed to having those in between like softer pastel type colors. And so I would never try to do a portrait with just the polychromos, because I find them to just be completely lacking in skin tone colors. Whereas the luminance pencils, I feel like the biggest drawback with the luminance pencils is that they lack browns, but they make up for it by having just the best skin tone colors between all the pencils that I have. The luminance just is the best, and I like the texture that you get, the really soft kind of creamy wax texture from the luminance when you burnish, and you don't get that with the polychromos. I'm not saying that polychromos are bad pencils, but not at all. They're great pencils, and I find them to be very useful when it comes to trying to get very sharp lines and detail, which is just impossible to get with the luminance. So the pair of those two pencils just work perfect together. But individually, if I only had to choose one, I'd always choose the luminance over the polychromos. But good question. Thank you. Oh, it seems like a few people are lagging. Love the ship, flying one. Yep, yeah, it's a flying one. I was going to do a flying ship in my Inktober ship picture also, but as I did put the Inktober on hold, we'll see if I will do that later. Yeah, I have noticed you haven't shared any Inktober pieces. I've been missing your pieces, Anna. They were so lovely. They were so good. I really was enjoying them. I hope you find some time this week to catch back up with a bit of the prompts. Gosh, I have something stuck in my throat today. Hello, Jennifer. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything fancy with this. I don't even think I'm going to shade it. I think I'm just going to do just kind of like, not necessarily a silhouette, but kind of. I'm not going to use any markers. Right before the stream, I was thinking, well, maybe I could add like some blue in the back and kind of create somewhat of like a sky scene. Use a bit of negative space to create the sensation that there's clouds there. And then I immediately said, no, I need to just get this drawing complete. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time today to really do something special. I know you guys have been really liking the figure pieces that I've done the past 2 days, and I've been liking them a lot. In fact, I like them so much that I might redo both of them later on as like fully realized pieces of work. And I think those are like the two pieces that I've done that makes me think about doing that. Like maybe doing them in colored pencils so that I can get smoother skin tones and blending and all that fun stuff. I really think I might have to, and make like a series of it or something, because they're so fun. I could do a series similar to Michael. If you guys aren't aware of Michael's channel, we live stream together about a week before Inktober, but he's been doing a series in colored pencils of royal fruit, and I think it'd be kind of fun to do a series of like people as fruit, or people inspired or figure inspired fruit, kind of like the orange piece that I did. I could redo the orange piece, make it look a lot better using colored pencils, Probably using colored pencils and markers, just mix those two mediums together since they work so well. But it would be kind of cool to do like a whole series of pieces like that. Maybe just like 3 or 4 drawings, but you know, a series doesn't have to be 10. Just a thought. I mean, realistically, I don't know how sure I am that I'd do something like that, but it does. I do like them a lot. You guys really seem to like them as well. I wonder how many anime themed ship pics will come out of today, because all the young kids are hip with the word ship instead of relationship. Yeah, that's true. This is probably going to be a very common subject to today's prompt. And you know what? I didn't even think of that. When I saw ship, I was like, well, I'm gonna do a ship. And my first initial reaction was, oh, you know what? I'm gonna draw the aircraft carrier that I was on. When I was in the Navy, I was on the USS Abraham Lincoln, and I considered doing an inking of that. But if you've ever looked at a picture of an aircraft carrier, not only are they huge, but there's a ton of detail. And I was like, well, I don't really have that kind of time for today's prompt, so I think I'm just gonna have to take a mulligan on today's prompt and do something really very, very typical. This just feels very, very standard as to what I think most people are going to be drawing. I'm sure a few people will just be drawing regular ships and water of all kinds of variety, and then there will be those people that are anime and manga fans that draw their ships flying, because the steampunk fandom is pretty common, I think. I think I will continue the full Inktober prompt later, maybe while I'm at my puppy vacation. I'll do those all in 1 week. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd love to see what you come up with. I would have done something sending a package, but then again, hubby works for UPS, so when I hear ship, I don't think boat. You know, Jennifer, it's funny that you say that, because my other idea, so after I scratched the idea of drawing an aircraft carrier, I decided, well, I didn't decide, but I'd given it some thought of doing a wooden shipping crate, and for this I would have colored it and everything to create that wood texture real nicely. I was going to do a wooden shipping crate that was shipping Nugget, and I was going to have his eyes poking out of the teeny tiny little holes on top. But I ended up not doing it. It was a briefly lived idea, but yeah. Now that I'm realizing how common a ship is most likely going to be for today's prompt, I kind of regret not doing that. It would have been fun to incorporate Nugget into today's prompt, since he's been a little neglected. I'll put him on the ship for sure, though. Yeah, I'll put him on the ship. I think that's totally doable for today. And starships for sci-fi. Yeah, that's another good one, Christine. Okay, other Christine with a C. You take care. Oh, you're not too late, Gihan. But I did share your drawing at the beginning of the live stream. Oh, that's good. If you're getting inspired, that's always a positive. Are there any Walking Dead fans in the live chat today? I watched the season premiere yesterday, and I was super excited about how good it was. It was such a good season premiere. I won't spoil it just in case anybody hasn't seen it, but it was a good one. It was a good one for sure. I definitely enjoyed that. We got to have a few of you. There has to be a few people in the live chat that's fan of Walking Dead. I can't imagine. I just can't imagine that there's not a single one of you. I love this show. Walking Dead is my favorite show right now. You're not a zombie person? Well, at this point in the show, it's hardly even about zombies anymore. It's more about just fighting other people for the sake of survival. But just the way that you learn about the characters in the show, it's so easy to connect to them, and it's just a well-written show. Like, bottom line, it's just a well-written show. Sometimes it gets on my nerves, though, I won't lie. Sometimes I feel like they just make really dumb decisions, but I think that's it's just something that they have to put in movies and shows, like people making dumb decisions. You prefer mummies and vampires. Only watched up to like season 4? Oh goodness, you're missing out, Christine. An amazingly early Smash present today. I'm not sure what the Smash present is. I'm still trying to figure out what to do for today's prompt. I don't want to do what I think everyone is going to do, which is a ship being pulled down by a kraken. I didn't even think of that, but that's a good one. What art utensils do you like to use the most, such as colored pencils, marker, paint, etc.? So my favorite medium is oil paint, but I never get to do it. Because I just don't have enough space in my tiny little flat to do oil paintings. And but aside from that, I would say my second favorite would be markers and colored pencils, like combined, the mixed medium, because markers and colored pencils are like oils and acrylics. They just go together. And then my third favorite would be pastels. I really like pastels, but it does kind of annoy me that there's no good way to seal pastels to the point that you can just handle the finished pieces. You have to always protect them, and all of the fixatives darken it and make it look like crap. So I never use fixatives, and because of that I have to store them special, and it's kind of annoying. Like, they're fun to work with, they're easy to work with, they're like the easiest medium in the world, but yeah, so that I would have to go there. And then, yeah, I like using just ink. I like inking stuff. I would say inking, I don't know, maybe inking is ahead of pastels, because I feel more drawn to inking than playing with pastels, but I still do really like pastels. Let's see, what else did I miss here? We don't really use cable. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I had cable. It's been 8 years. Yeah, I think it's been 8 years since I've had cable, so I don't have Netflix either. Yeah, you should definitely check it out. You were planning on watching the show but never have found the time. Well, the first season is a good one. I think the first season is a good one. Really good introduction. The development of the story is really well done, and you immediately really just enjoy learning Rick's story, and they introduce his character really well. But yeah, the first season is probably one of the best seasons, because just the way that you get introduced to the story and the characters is just perfectly done, and you don't quite you don't get that one character that everybody hates and is just waiting to die. But she's in this first season, but she's tolerable in the first season, but by the end of the second season, you're like, oh my gosh, please kill this character off. And she does eventually die. When she died, I literally was like cheering. I was like, yes, yes. I was so happy. And you probably will be too if you start watching it and get that far. Every time she opened her mouth, it was just annoying. I think the worst part about her death was that it was kind of lame. Kind of lame. I probably sound really terrible celebrating this character's death, but you just gotta know the show. Anybody that is familiar with the show probably knows exactly what I'm talking about, but what about those clean paper protector things for pastel storage? No, those are no good for pastel storage because they're made of plastic, and you can't use plastic to protect pastel pieces, because what happens is the static electricity from the plastic will pull off the pastel from the paper, which is also why when you frame pastel work, it cannot be behind plastic, whatever that plastic glass stuff is called. Plexiglass. Yeah, it can't be behind plexiglass. It has to be behind real glass because of the static. I have a few friends who are obsessed by the show, so yes, definitely is my to-do list in the future. Oh, hello, Chrissy. Yes, Christine. You have to be careful how you store your pastel pieces. That's just it's another one of those things that kind of just drives me a little bit crazy about it. But it's such a friendly medium that it's hard to just completely despise it. So you gotta deal with the bad in order to get the good, you know. Have I watched the Vikings? No, I've never heard of it. Barely have enough time to do art, much less watch TV, but I've seen a couple episodes. Yeah, well, Anna and I, like, our daily schedule pretty much is, during the week, she obviously goes to work 5 days a week, and then she comes home and we make food, and then she does things on her computer for a while, and then we make more food, and that's like dinner. And so we usually just hang out and spend time together watching TV shows, because by that point it's pretty late. Oh, you binge watched all the Vikings? Yeah, I never heard of that one. You have to tell me what that Vikings show is about. I mean, it's called Vikings, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's literally about Vikings. But it could be. If it sounds like it could be like a fantasy show about Vikings or something, like a historical fantasy. Maybe not. I just bought those plastic protectors because I thought they would be good for putting my pastels into. What should I do with them for storage if I'm not going to frame them? So Jennifer, I have a video specifically to how to store and protect your pastel work on my channel. I preemptively made that video before I even made my pastel course, and I show you. It's very, very easy. It's probably, realistically, it's probably cheaper than buying those plastic protector things. You just use some glassine paper and kind of wrap it up. You can wrap it up. I like to use foam board, so I put it down on foam board. I cover it with the glassine paper, and that lets you layer it and also have that rigid surface to protect it from being bent or curled or anything like that. So that's you can find that video probably pretty easily by just searching in YouTube how to store and protect pastel artwork or pastel paintings or whatnot. It is historically based if you like Game of Thrones, etc. Oh yeah, I love Game of Thrones too. Yep, Game of Thrones fan for sure. I wasn't in the beginning. For me, when I tried to watch it one time a long time ago when it was getting really, really popular, and you literally could not go outside without somebody asking you if you've seen Game of Thrones, and at least in America. And I tried watching it, and I just couldn't. I was the first season, and I still say that the first season of Game of Thrones is by far one of the worst first seasons of any show, because I felt like they did a really, really poor job at introducing you to the characters. and it's hard. It was hard for me to get through the first time, and the second season was kind of similar in the sense that I was they jumped around a bit too much, and you never really got a connection with the characters, because in the first season when they killed off Ned, you're like, I don't even really care about this guy, because they just didn't develop the characters enough by that point. But I say once you get to the third season, you're like, you know the characters, and you know which characters you like and which characters you don't like. But I really liked the like by the time you're getting through like to the fourth season, I really like the character arches. That's what it kind of pays off a little bit, actually, by making the first two seasons a little bit distant from the characters. You don't really know which characters you like and which characters you don't like, because you get almost a larger character arch by the time you're in the fourth season. And yeah, I guess it kind of pays off, because there's characters in the beginning that you're kind of like, I don't know if I like this character, and then by the fourth season you're like, man, I really like this character. I kind of hate the position he's in or she's in. So yeah, I'm gonna let me write the name. Although Vikings is, I'm gonna write down Vikings, so that I can remember it. I'll try to check it out. Yeah, I love talking about TV shows, and I like talking about TV shows and video games, but unfortunately I don't play video games anymore. I used to just love playing video games, and when I started at the university to get my degree in math, I sold all of my video game stuff, because I knew that it was either graduate from college or prestige one more time in Call of Duty. That was the two options that I had available. And so I ended up selling all my video games, because I knew that my education was just a bit more important. And I never rebounded from that. The only video game that I play now is I play a little bit of Magic Online, but even not too much of that anymore. Oh, hello, Riss. Yes, I hated Cersei till she took the walk of shame, and I felt so bad for her, and now I kind of started liking her. Oh, Jennifer, you can't like Cersei. She's the worst. I still don't like her. I never liked her. When she had to do the walk of shame, I was like, this is not bad enough. This is not bad enough for her. I didn't feel bad at all. I was like, gosh darn it, they let her out of her cell. Yeah. You're the opposite. No more TV, video games only. Video games help me with art a lot, though. Yeah, I think video games can be a huge inspiration for artists. I always liked the first person shooters. I was a big Call of Duty player. I loved it. It was just something that I probably spent way too much time doing, but regardless, it it was fun. You know, connecting with people online and playing was always a fun thing to do. And yeah, sometimes I feel like just splurging and getting a new game system just so I can play, but I know that I can't. I just don't have the time. As much as I'd like to have the time for it, I know that I really don't. And yeah. If I were to get a video game system, I would most likely slow down on my art, which is not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. I have to maintain a certain level of discipline in order to make this art stuff work out. I have less than a year now in order to get to my next goal over on Patreon, and it's hopefully it works out the same way this year did, because I got to the goal I needed to over on Patreon like 6 months ago to continue doing this now, and I have that same goal for next year. So as long as I reach that goal, I can continue doing YouTube and teaching and stuff full time. Otherwise, it's back to America, back to school too. Back to school. I gotta. I'll probably just sign right up for school and get my master's and get my teaching certificate and start teaching as quickly as possible. If I don't reach my next goal on Patreon. Let's see, what did I miss here? Yeah, you need me to art. Oh, hello, Hilda. Grand Theft Auto, yeah, I haven't played any of the new Grand Theft Auto games, but they look so addicting. That's why I have a Mac computer, because most games aren't compatible to the operating system on Mac, which is a huge benefit to me, because I would just keep installing video games. I always say that PC is for gamers and Mac are for people that want to get things done. But let's see, do I or anyone else remember the Mega Drive Sega Genesis game? I don't remember that one. My Sega game was Earthworm Jim, and oh gosh, what was the other one? I can remember playing it. Oh gosh. I saved up for like 6 months to get the new one. There was like part 1, part 2, and part 3, and I saved up like every quarter, every dime for like ever, and I remember buying it. It was like $60 for a Sega Genesis game, but I can't remember the name of it. Oh goodness, that's gonna drive me nuts. But you were kind of like this ball, this guy that was made out of a bunch of like floating balls, and that you would collect things and you would turn into things like tanks and airplanes or whatnot. It was super cool. But yeah, can't remember the name of that one. Why do I roll the needed eraser across the page instead of other methods? Yes, there is a specific method, so I always roll it. I always roll it like this, because you're not going to smear anything. Because if you think about the physics of what's happening, it's the same as tapping it down and picking it up, but instead of doing it like this, in the rolling motion, only one side is ever going to be touching the paper at once. And when you continue to roll it, instead of sliding it across the paper, it's just lifting straight off. And for that reason, you're not going to smear your ink. So that's why I always roll it. Looks like the ship from Skylanders. I never heard of Skylanders. Have I ever seen or played Child of Light? No, I have not. Yeah, I have not played that. I need to start doing stuff. I always do this. I always like sit here and just chat with you guys and forget that I need to draw. Like I said, today's is going to be pretty easy, so at the very most I might grab a couple gray markers just to make this thing a little bit more interesting, because otherwise it's just going to be white and black. It is a video game that makes you buy figurines to use in the game. Oh, you know, I think my sister may have played something like that. Do you set like the figurine on whatever? Oh, hello, Dimension. When you have time, go and search for it. It's truly amazing. November is going to be so quiet, you will end up missing the live chat. Yeah, it's true. Well, I will. It's not like I'm going to stop live streaming altogether. One of the things that I want to do, that I want to get back to doing, I guess is a better way of saying, is making, doing original work offline and making really nice time lapses of it. It's been a while since I've done something like that, and I'd like to do that again, because I really enjoy filming and editing, you know, finding fun, interesting camera angles to record my time lapses, and so I'd like to do that, at least one before the end of the year. And then of course I'm going to be potentially live streaming twice a week instead of just once. I would like to try to bump it up one more time a week. If it's not too much, maybe on like a Tuesday and a Thursday, because once this month is over, I'm going to be changing my live streaming schedule for Patreon, because I've done a few surveys over there, and Mondays and Fridays seem to be the preferred days. So I'll be live streaming Monday and Friday for Patreon. Not twice a week though, just twice a week every other week, because I'll live stream on a Friday one week and then a Monday the following week, and then I'll skip that Friday and live stream the following Friday. That will give me a lot more flexibility in between that Monday and the following Friday stream for Patreon. That way it would give me a little bit more time to kind of figure everything out and get everything together and organized a bit easier, and also have a little bit of a break in between each week. Let's see. I think I should carry on the live chat. Oh, that's an interesting idea to, just pick random words each day and do a live stream drawing. I don't know if I'll do that. Actually, that kind of gives me an idea. Because I've for the longest time I've been doing the drawing journal, as many of you know, and I started the new Facebook group, the Unmask family. Link is in the description if you haven't joined yet. But we were kind of playing around with the idea a few days ago or last week or something about changing it to like the family reunion or the family meeting or something like that instead of the drawing journal. But I don't know, it would be kind of fun, or a fun idea, if I'm not in the middle of drawing something, because usually the drawing journal is just me working on whatever it is I'm working on at the time. And it's never really the purpose of a tutorial. It's just, I'm working on something. But I did always have the original sketchbook that I started specifically for the drawing journal, where you just work on something slowly, weeks at a time sometimes. But turning it into a stream where I actually finish a piece, now that could be an idea. Grabbing random words from a dictionary, or maybe you guys could vote on several words, maybe in the Facebook group or something, and then I would just try to design something around that word prompt for the new live streams, because I definitely don't want to stop live streaming, but I definitely want to stop live streaming every day. It's exhausting. 25 days in to Inktober. Yeah, I'm feeling it for sure. Mentally, I think mentally it's just not possible to keep up for much longer than a month, because artistically it's so hard to keep coming up with ideas that I like, because I don't have a problem coming up with like ideas. It's coming up with ideas that I'm willing to put the time into. Because I don't like to draw things that I don't like, which is why I usually don't do commissions. But it's mentally draining to do it every day, even on the weekends. Like I like to not work on the weekends, even though I almost always end up working on the weekend. But yeah, we'll come up with something. I think it's going to just stay the drawing journal for now. Maybe I'll come up with something new in the future. missed the start of the stream. Is there a particular reason or meaning behind this piece today? No, there's no meaning or anything like that. It's just a boat that's flying, a flying boat. I didn't want to do a regular boat because I thought it'd be too typical, I guess. So I went ahead and did a flying boat, which is probably still too typical. I've always really liked flying boats, like in anime and stuff like that. I always liked the way they looked. They're just so interesting to think of a flying boat. So that's why I went with it. But this boat this is just something totally made up. Same strategy. I woke up this morning, made my oatmeal, made my cup of tea, sat down in front of my drawing monitor, and started goofing off. And this is what I came up with. I mean, for this fan, I literally Googled fan, and I was like, I like that fan, so I picked it and threw it on the boat. For the wing thingies here, I was like, just gonna throw on wings. What sense do they make? I have no idea, but I always see them on these kind of flying boat thingies. And I literally in Photoshop, I drew this first one, copied it onto another layer, and put one behind it. I don't know, mechanically it probably doesn't make any sense, but I like the way it looked. So that's literally how I came up with this. And then the final thing that I did is I put a person on here. Person standing up here with their arms, you know, all Titanic-like. I did the best I could with how small this person is, but I just threw them on there, basically a stick figure with a bit of weight. A fat stick figure standing on the whatever that thing's called. I don't know boats. Let's see. The game was such a good idea, I still want to do it. Maybe we should tag the next person. I have an idea for you. I'd much rather see your channel grow than my own. You have so much skill. Thank you, Doodle Stuff. Anyway, get an actual dictionary, not an online one. I have a few dictionaries. But I've done such a good job this Inktober. We are proud of you, but really, you need to take a small break after this Inktober. Yeah, I'm definitely going to. I can assure you there is a small break coming. There is a small break coming for sure. Yeah, I just can't wait to have my weekends back. No offense, everyone, but, you know, I need my weekends. I miss just being a bum. Like Saturday, sometimes Anna and I, we don't even leave the bed. We just lay there all day, getting fat in front of the TV. Like sometimes that's the perfect way to spend a day, is just not even leaving bed, just being lazy bums. Sometimes your mind needs it so much more than your body does, and I feel like I'm at that point right now. But for sure, we're going to be going to Prague in the middle of November, and I think that I'm going to look for a place for us to stay for a couple days as opposed to just going down there for a single day. I'd hate to take the 4-hour train ride down and not really get to see much of Prague, since I've never been to Prague. And then you start your live stream, you get a person to choose a page number from. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, I can't do that doodle stuff. I can't let people choose it live. I'm not that good. I'm not that good. I can't just draw stuff. I have to plan. I have to plan. I can't do it any other way. It's just, I mean, maybe I could get away with it like by sheer luck, but no, I really have to plan what I do, and I wouldn't be able to do it on the live stream. I think the reason I can't just draw stuff without not necessarily like just collecting reference photos, but like come up with a good idea on the spot. Sometimes I can, for sure, but I would say in general I can't. And I think it's partially because I tend to do so many different things, because you can't really pinpoint what it is I draw. Like sometimes you can pinpoint what artists draw. They're like, oh, they like animals, they draw animals, or they draw portraits, or they draw kind of a cartoonish type character design stuff, like comic book style or whatever. But try to do that for me. I mean, you can't even do that for Inktober for me. Every single drawing pretty much is a different technique, a different medium added, a different whatever, different style, different just everything. And that's the same with all of my videos. That's probably why my channel doesn't grow super fast, because I don't focus on anything in particular. I don't just do portraits. I don't just do landscapes. I don't just do animals. I do one week I'll do a portrait. The next week I'll be doing, I don't know, just random stuff. I like to just draw whatever is inspiring at the time. And so I think because of that, I haven't quite mastered the ability to just come up with whatever, whenever, even if it's based on a word prompt. So I'd have to do the word selection before the live stream. Would never be able to do it on the live stream. I don't think any of my Inktober pieces would have worked out if I didn't plan. If I just turned on the live streaming and was like, today's prompt is, and then I came up with something, and it would probably be a disaster. Most likely a total disaster. Don't say it like that. Flying boat is looking badass. Okay, thanks for this. I usually don't go many places because of agoraphobia issues, but I agree to meet her to do art. Did I miss something? I think I missed something. I forgot to tell you, first day with no milk. My tea sucks now, but I'm gonna try. I've never got the tea and milk. I drink my tea with, I think it's just black tea, actually. I think it's just black tea. But I just drink it with a little bit of lemon in it. Nothing, just a bit of lemon. I did have sugar in it for quite some time. Not a whole lot of sugar. I slowly removed more and more sugar from my tea. And now I drink my tea strictly with just lemon. And I'm not going to lie, it took a little bit of time to get used to. But yeah, that's how I have my tea. My wife, on the other hand, I don't think she'll ever be able to give up sugar the way I have. She loves sugar. The amount of sugar in her tea is probably enough sugar to, like, if I still put sugar in my tea, the amount of sugar she puts in her tea now is probably enough sugar for me to have 4 teas or something. But good job not going a day without milk. Is that also including eggs and cheese, like a full day with no dairy whatsoever, or just a day without milk? I've got to go. Good to talk to you. Bye. I'll take care, Christine. Oh gosh, did I miss some chat? Oh, where did it stop? For some reason it scrolled up a little bit and I didn't see anything. Okay, you have inspired me to get myself out there more. I figured if you have social anxiety and can sit here and interact with us, then I can eat lunch and do art in public. Well, I'm glad that I've inspired you, Jennifer. Those are the kind of messages that I love getting on Facebook, just randomly, is when somebody that I've never chatted with or anything, they just come over from my YouTube channel to let me know that I've inspired them to start drawing again or whatnot. Anything. I love getting those messages. They just make me so hopeful and happy for what I do. They really make me enjoy what I do. So I'm glad to hear that, Jennifer. Thank you for telling me. These types of ships remind me of Hayao Miyazaki's. Yeah, yeah, 100%. I'm a huge fan of his. His animes are just awesome. I love Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Those are probably 2 of my favorites. I just like the kind of looseness and fun that is his style. Let's see, what else did I miss here? What else did I miss? Anything? I can't keep up with the chat. Yeah, Anna misses the free weekends as well. These wings are old river sailboats. I think they are called keel because they keep the boat from capsizing when the water is shallow. Oh, interesting. I don't know much about boats, but I'm curious and asked, so I know. I did my ship in ink and watercolor. Can I describe what I draw or do? Since I feel I've been all over the place lately, so I wonder if that seems as chaotic to my followers also. What I draw is exactly what I like to draw. So if I were to go through my collection of drawings, most of the time, like 90% of the time easily, I'm simply just drawing whatever it is I like. And that's the kind of randomness that I get. And sometimes I wonder if it might be too random for people to continue following me over a long period of time, because it's like, okay, but when are you going to draw this again? Or when are you going to do this again? You know, I came across your YouTube channel and you were drawing this, and now all I see is a bunch of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes I've concerned myself a little bit with, you know, not being as focused in a particular, not only in a particular medium, but also in a particular style. Like, should I just stick to colored pencils and draw portraits all day? Like, I like to draw portraits in colored pencils. It's fun. It's one of my favorite subjects to do. But I'm interested in so much other stuff. There's so many other pictures and subjects that intrigue me, that I just draw whatever intrigues me the most next. So I finish this, whatever it is that I see that I'm like, you know what, I like that. I kind of like the way the light is hitting it. I like the colors. You know, virtually every aspect of any thing in the world has the potential to influence whatever I draw next, because I just draw whatever kind of catches my eye in the moment or whatnot. So, okay, so you just gave up milk for now, so just so happens that I only had veggies today. Okay. I've always wanted to be one of those people who set up their art on a sidewalk and just does art and sells pieces. I never thought I could do the public part. Yeah. You've helped me be more brave. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I love drawing flowers and doing watercolor. I thought that, but I created my own channel for my own benefit. I started to wonder what people might like, but then I thought, I'll draw what I like. Yep, that's exactly what I do. You know, I feel like a lot of YouTube artists, they draw that draw portraits. They're always drawing like portraits of famous people and whatnot. It's like, is that what you're really into? Are you drawing these famous people because you like the famous people? There's always this surge of bandwagonness from artists that irritates me so much. So you'll have some obscure famous person pass away, and then all of a sudden everybody has to draw that person. It's like, are you so shallow in your work? And now, obviously, I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, but it has to be for a lot of people. Are you so shallow in your work that you have to piggyback on the tragedy of someone passing away to get attention? Like, it drives me nuts. It's like, oh, this person died. Well, that's terrible. But then it's just everybody draws that person, and it's like, that's the last thing I would do. Like, it is the least inspiring. I'm sorry, but people dying does not inspire me to draw them. It does not inspire me to draw them. And it's just one of those things that I'll never do. I'll never piggyback on top of the death of some celebrity that I don't even really know. And I swear, it's like, it's the same thing over and over again. Like, people, celebrities will die, and then on my Facebook page, everybody's like, oh, rest in peace, blah blah blah. It's like, you didn't know this person. Like, it's weird. It's weird how people they feel connected to these people they've never met. They don't talk about on a regular basis, but it's like they die and they have to virtue signal, like, oh, I care about this person, whatever. Just, oh my gosh, it just drives me so nuts. It's one of those things that as soon as I see it, it's like, it just bothers me. It just bothers me. I hope I didn't, nobody is like that in the sense that, you know, they took offense to what I'm saying here. if you want to draw the person, more power to you. It's just for me as an individual, I could never pull inspiration from somebody's death for the sake of trying to get on the trending page of YouTube. Sorry, that was a little bit of a rant. Apologize for that. Let me see what I missed in the chats. Maybe I'll draw something too. Okay, standing ovation. So it seems like a few of you agree with me. There is only one famous person I would ever do art about, but it is a secret because it's probably not very PC. You agree, Hilda? I kind of like how artists died when their art is worth more somehow. Yeah, that's really irritating too. That the art that is collected in the higher echelons of society is, especially the postmodern stuff. That just makes me crazy. That's why I don't participate in that form of the art community, because it's so unbelievably pretentious. It's just borderline fraudulent. And they always say some cheesy thing like, "We will miss you." Yeah, there's always some cheesiness that has to go with the stuff. Yeah. I've got to get going, pull my love of Japanese art, and draw a Japanese ship being pulled down by a kraken. Okay, Mandy, you take care. A person who draws people I do like right now is Demosart. I don't know that. He draws with ballpoint pens. Oh yeah, I do know him. I've seen some of his work. Yeah. That's why they draw those people. Yeah. Yep. I'm too genuine. I'm too genuine to do stuff like that. I'm not gonna pretend like I knew somebody and that, it's heartbreaking, because it's not to me. It's not heartbreaking to me. I don't want to come off as like cold and callous. It's not like I don't feel bad. It's just that I don't know them. I'm glad some of you guys agree with me though. It's always nice knowing you're not the only one. That is why the sidewalk artist thing rocks. No dumb art critics in the gallery drinking wine and being snobby. Hello, Kolya. Yeah, that's cool. That must have been an interesting paper to write. I want everyone to party when I die. Don't mourn my death. Celebrate my life. Yeah, that's the way that's the way I would want it to be as well. You drew Robin Williams when he died, and what you drew offended a lot of people. I guess that's always the risk that you kind of run into, the potential risk. I feel like I need to maybe shade this a bit. I don't know, maybe with some gray or something. I feel like it might be a little bit plain. Hopefully if I add enough of these kind of supporting lines here, maybe it will start looking cool. I only drew one person that has died, and he was my son, and it was helpful. Yeah, I can certainly respect that that choice of to draw. Family members are always worth drawing. I still have some graphite to erase. Okay, everyone, I have to get in the shower, so I have one less reason to talk myself out of going out of the house and canceling on my friend for our art lunch. Thank you. You're welcome, Jennifer. You have fun. You have fun on your lunch. Yeah, I was, so when I was in college at the community college, this was while I was still working on my associate's degree, and I was in the art studio. Now, I mentioned this a few times that I was invited into the art studio with the art students just so that I could paint whenever I wanted. And one of the students in there had lost her husband, and she would come in, and she did a whole series kind of just dedicated to her emotions. It was really powerful and therapeutic for her. You know, it helped her deal with all the difficult emotions. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It would just be, oh gosh, I don't even want to think about it. It's so hard to imagine that feeling. I don't know actually if I were to go through something like that, I don't know if I would be able to use, if I would even be able to use art as a way to work through that kind of emotion. I'm kind of, for me, I'm more of the sit and contemplate kind of person. So I tend to just think about things rather than try to express that in my work. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. It's kind of turned into a pretty heavy subject. Where's Steve at to give us a joke to make everybody in the live stream laugh? I think I'm just going to try to finish this up by adding a few more lines. Call it a day. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, it's about 15:20-ish right now. And like to clean up the house a little bit before my wife gets home. You know, do my husbandly duties. I'm just making random lines wherever I think wherever I think they might need to be to support my boat, my boat sales. Oh, hello, Elise. Yeah, you came in a little late. Trying to do the last bit of details for today's piece. That way everybody can go on their way and work on their own Inktober pieces so that you can send them to me on Facebook and I can share them with everybody. One thing I do want to mention really quick, so it looks like next year, so next spring time frame. I know that's pretty far away, but I was asked by the editor of Colored Pencil magazine to do a kind of a tutorial for the magazine. It'd be like 8-page tutorial, something along those lines, and I'm just going to be showing like beginner colored pencil artist how to color eyes. So that's a project that I'll be doing in the future, and I will let you guys know when that what is the word I'm looking for? I'm at a loss for words. When that article comes out, but what would be the magazine? It's gosh, I can't remember. When the actual magazine is printed, I'll let you know when my article's in it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that project. And I do want to mention that anybody that's a fan of the Colored Pencil magazine, they just launched their Patreon page, and they have this really cool option that for like $3 for $3 pledge, you actually get a digital copy of the magazine every month, which is totally awesome. So if you sign up, you can get the download for every month. You can just download the monthly copy of the magazine, which is super cool. Sally, the editor, I've worked with her for a couple years now. I've done a few articles in Colored Pencil magazine, and actually this past spring I did an article on Patreon specifically. And it's funny because she kind of took that article and launched a Patreon page for the magazine itself, which is, I think, a really good idea. And she helps promote my Patreon page and promote me as an artist. She's been super great to work with, and so I support the magazine. And it's always nice to have something extra to read, to explore new artists, learn new techniques, especially if you're into colored pencils, since that's what the magazine focuses on. And it's just been a really good resource and a really great opportunity to work with the magazine. And it's going to be great to work with the magazine again next year. Yeah, I told her that I'd share that information on the live stream because I know that they deserve it, and I know that you guys, a lot of you use colored pencils, so yeah. The publication date, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be April, so it's pretty far away from now, but yeah, it will be out next year. And what I think I might do is actually do a video version of the tutorial. So I'll do both a video version and the in print version. And I think I'm going to try to work out having her put the link in the magazine that will allow those students that want to learn more about coloring eyes to come over to the video and watch it. So I'll try to do both of those around the same time. I'll probably actually do or start writing the tutorial in January or maybe late December or something like that. But I won't release anything until the magazine issue, the issue comes out. That's the word I was looking for, issue. Yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that little information. I'm gonna call this one done. Like I said, today I went super simple and very easy on myself today. So, but regardless, it was really fun hanging out with you guys and drawing. Hopefully you guys got some work done on your own Inktober pieces. Make sure that you don't forget to send me them. I've been really appreciating all the kind messages and the artwork that you guys have been sending me, so keep it coming. And tomorrow, I have no idea what I'm doing for tomorrow. You can pretty much guarantee that for the remainder of Inktober, I have no idea what the following day is going to be. So it's going to be hopefully something good. Maybe I'll do a little bit more than what I did today. Yeah, you guys are great. Love having you here, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Peace.